Okay, this is fun. People have been asking for another variation of a strength and cardio circuit. So today, this is about building up elasticity, strength, mobility, all of it. I would suggest you might do 1, 2, or 3 times through the circuit. It'll take about 5 minutes each time. And I'm going to offer variations of those who cannot lie down on the floor, who need to stand, and those who can come up and down quite easily. So we're going to start, you'll need something light. So I have this is a 10-pound kettlebell. Normally I would use 25 pounds if I was just doing a set, but since we're doing multiple sets, I'm using something light. This is a swing. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell or a water bottle. And you just stand, left hand has the weight, and you swing the weight in front of the right leg. So initially, the first exercise is to help stimulate the feet, align the leg, get yourself focused, get our entire system connected, feet to fingertips. We're doing sets of 15. Again, if it was just one set in a regular lifting program, I would do 20 reps with a heavier weight. Okay, right hand and swing in front of the left foot. Make sure the toes are pointing forward. And the wobbling from your ankle, your foot, the arch. So here you're strengthening the connective tissues and your plantar fascia, evening out the Achilles, getting better connection of the toes to give arch support for all your running and other fun activities. Okay, that's 15. Perfect. And now we'll put the weight down, continuing that same concept, and we're going to do skipping in place. So again, stimulating the feet, getting the elasticity going. So it doesn't have to be high, but just skip in place, switching feet. If you can't do that, you can just do like a slight, like marching or walking in place, but ideally getting the activation of the toes. And because, we had a snowstorm, walking is a bit sloppy, running would be sloppy. So here we want to put things back in order, but still maintain some elastic quality. And you can go more forceful if you want to. Okay, rest. Okay, and next, again, working on balance and strengthening the connections in the legs. Hands behind head if it works. If not, hands across chest. Right leg in front. Circle kick. So imagine you're a sprinter. Pull the heel up and out. Just like you're riding a bicycle, same action. Here you're getting the core to engage, to give proper support structure of the torso, again for all your snow shoveling and other fun stuff. Good, other side. Okay, so right foot, spread your toes, hands like this across chest or behind head. Okay, toes are pointing forward, knee up and kick out. Keep the foot flexed. The lifted leg, keep the foot flexed. Heel up toward the hip, straight out and kick. So this will still give you your sprint actions, even though you can't properly sprint outside right now. Keep the core on, that's good. Rest, perfect. Okay, next we're going to do a set of deadlift action. It's a hip hinging position. I like to go wide stance so you get better internal and external rotation through the hips. So the legs should be quite wide, the feet angled the same direction as the hips are splayed. When you go down into the hip hinge or the deadlift position, think hips come back and keep the knees tracking out in the direction of the toes. You don't have to go all the way down, should be neutral spine throughout. You really should not feel this in the lower back. Keep the chin tucked in. Okay, most important factor, the glutes. Every time you go down, squeeze the glutes at the top, fully engage the glutes. The weight is light, so it's not going to feel too hard at this point. But after your second, third, or fourth set, the next day you probably really feel your glutes. At the top, your hips are vertically over the heels. At the bottom, the hips should be about a foot behind the heels, so make sure you get the hip hinging going on. It's not a knee bend, Initiate, hips back, sit down, engage glutes, stand up every time. Keep the chin tucked throughout the set. Perfect. The weight should travel vertically between the heels. Be careful of the weight shifting forward, okay? It should be back close to the body. Okay, now to get more rotational core work here and still working the glutes, I love it. So legs are out to the side, same position, wide. And this time the arm swings to the side with the weight. Here be conscientious of the hips should travel directly forward and back. The tendency is to shift laterally. We want core stability and thoracic spine, upper back rotation of the scapula. I'll do back view this time. So like this, in between the legs, out to the side. Same hip hinge action. We're going to do 15 reps each side. So next time you go through this, if you have the video going, you know what the exercises are, so you can just start ahead as you're listening to the descriptions. Get a few extra reps in. But always hip hinging, hips back, hips forward, engaging the glutes, protecting the lower back. Never want the spine to vary along this movement. The arm very stiff, don't let your elbows to the body. Okay, now to get more rotational core work here and still working the glutes, I love it. So legs are out to the side, same position, wide. And this time the arm swings to the side with the weight. Here be conscientious of the hips should travel directly forward and back. The tendency is to shift laterally. We want core stability and thoracic spine, upper back rotation of the scapula. I'll do back view this time. So like this, in between the legs, out to the side. Same hip hinge action. We're going to do 15 reps each side. So next time you go through this, if you have the video going, you know what the exercises are, so you can just start ahead as you're listening to the descriptions. Get a few extra reps in. But always hip hinging, hips back, hips forward, engaging the glutes, protecting the lower back. Never want the spine to vary along this movement. The arm very stiff, don't let your elbow bend. Good. And switch left arm, palm is forward. So the reason palm is forward is that externally rotates the shoulder. So when you're at the computer, you're holding onto the steering wheel or the golf club, like there's so much internal rotation in our shoulders. Keep the chin down. Do not allow the head to tip up and down. Your lower back must not arch or round when you're doing this movement. If your head tips around, that'll cause the flexion and extension along the spine and destabilize the lower back. For the purposes of this exercise, when you're jumping and doing other things, it would be a little different, of course. Here we're working on creating stability and alignment. Beautiful. Rest. Okay. Now since we have the weight, let's do this. So now we want to do core strengthening and also build up resilience of our shoulders. Okay, now to help release the hip flexors and the internal and external rotators of the hips, plus build up the core strength and shoulder resilience, we'll push up position, alternate legs, hip external rotation, push up position, 10 each side. Try not to let the hips lift too high. Keep the legs straight when the leg goes back so that you drive the extension through the hip. It feels good for your hip flexors. Keep the arms really stiff. Do not allow the elbows to bend. That will stabilize the rotator cuff. And rest. And note how cardiovascularly, it's a great way to get strong. If you're not able to do that one on the floor, the push-up position, hip external rotation, you can have your hands like this on a chair or a bench. But again, there should be no arching of the lower back. When you hinge forward, make sure you've got really good core control. Only do as much as you can in a neutral spine position. Never allow the lower back to arch or to flex. So we just performed an upper body pressing move. So now we need to do something that's pulling. So for simplicity, since we're on the floor, you'll need a band. If you do not have a band, you can just move the arms. This is a band pull apart. The objective is to strengthen the protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades and scapula, align our arms. So it's overhand grip. You need to have the tension such that you can pull out with the arms to the floor, and the wrists should be very straight. So often what happens is people start pulling because of the internal rotation of the shoulders that this happens, and especially at the bottom, the wrists kind of bend in. So you need to be sure arms are very stiff, the elbows are stiff, and as you pull out, you're driving the movement from the shoulder blades, and this will help you to build up the stability of your elbows, wrists, and shoulder and rotator cuff. What you should also notice is core is engaging. Keep the chin tucked in. Keep the shoulders down from the ears, and the arms pull out just in line with the shoulders. Great. And lastly, to decompress and get prepared for our next circuit, legs are straight, feet flexed, arms up. Just reach with the arms. So you're lengthening from fingertips through your heels and press the backs of the hands toward the floor so that you feel your core engaged. Now, if you cannot get your arms back in this position, that's okay. You can cheat a bit. You can stand and just face the wall and bring your arms up on the wall, facing the wall. We're holding this position to give our bodies a chance to assimilate the training we just did, put our joints in alignment, build up the glute and core support, and get better flexion and extension of the shoulders and arms. We just hold this position and get prepared for our next set. And relax. Phew. Again, you can do this one standing at the wall. The band pull apart that we did, you can do that standing up. My name is Uttara, and we have really fun Zoom classes that are similar to what we did here. So please join us, send me an email. Have a great day. 1, 2, 3, 4 times through the circuit. That should give you a good training session for the day. Bye now.